Now, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I must have picked up, put back down, and repeated that process about 5 to 6 different times throughout this entire chapter, because the amount of just off the wall Chainsaw Man Fujimoto debauchery that goes on this chapter is all I can describe it as, is while nowhere near the level of controversy inducing that a chapter like I think 176, the hand chapter as I'll describe it, but this chapter is genuinely going to make a lot of people angle an eyebrow or two. But the thing is like at this point it's nothing that we haven't gotten before, and I'm still always excited to see what Fujimoto has to bring to this story. But golly, what a twist that I did not expect. Some things in this chapter that happen, like Denji being just dumbfounded at Death Devil raising, you know, their skirt to show him what is supposed to be the giant hole that shows all of her organs are gone, that she's tried to take herself out multiple times and has failed at this point. But instead he's so focused on her underwear, he literally can't even pay attention to what the Sword Devil is trying to explain to him, as there are 3 strategies that they have to work towards stopping the War Devil, who's currently on a mission to try and grab Denji. As Sword Devil explains all of this, Denji doesn't hear a single lick of it, which is just the most tragic thing in the world. And I have to say that got a good laugh out of me because, you know, not for nothing, Denji is Denji. That's not something that I don't expect. However, what I definitely don't expect is Fumiko showing up in this scene underneath the bed that Denji's lying in. Again, in just Denji fashion, as he's lying there and he's thinking about, you know, he might have to fight Asa and Yoru, and oh God, the ramifications of this could be crazy. I might not want to kill these people. He instead, of course, as he does, thinks about the time where he kissed Yoru, where he just saw panties, and he's like, you know what, is it bad if, you know, I relieve myself here? Which is just good Lord, Denji. One thing I will say, to make some kind of story relevance and some kind of character relevance into all of this, before we talk about Fumiko's contract, which is another insane asylum-inducing plot point by Fujimoto dropped on us, because of all things that I think everyone was thinking of or trying to theorize in regards to what her devil contract could be. I don't think anyone had what it actually was pinned down whatsoever, unless someone probably did, because I know the Chainsaw Man community is absolutely insane like that, and I just didn't happen to see the theory. One thing that I think it shows here is how Denji regresses the moment he loses Asa and Yoru's companionship, because whatever you want to say was going on when Denji and Yoru ran away and were kind of living alone amongst themselves before they got caught up in Death Devil's schemes with Falling and the fake Chainsaw Man, is Denji was kind of in the right mindset, right? He was respectful of Asa and Yoru's boundaries. He was doing his best to be there for them and try and keep Asa out of pure, utter depression. And they were just trying to live and do their best. And if anything, that was really Denji at his most powerful. Even a Denji that was staring at what was supposed to be the amalgamation of what Chainsaw Man is supposed to be, that fake Chainsaw Man is like, you don't represent Chainsaw Man. And you know what? I don't think Denji actually does represent what he thinks he wants to. This video is sponsored by GamerSupps, the ultimate energy and focus formula. Use my code NOOP now for 10% off, and thank you GamerSupps for sponsoring the channel. But regardless of getting into all of that and opening that can of worms for the 100th time, I think Denji being removed from Asa and Yoru, and the first thing he immediately thinks of is just, you know, getting off potentially. And then he has Fumiko, who immediately, whether you want to say she's right, she's wrong, whatever you feel in the story, completely just starts trying her best to mentally manipulate Denji to the best of her ability. Not just to make sure that, you know, she does what Denji does what she wants, but to make sure that she stays alive. She immediately starts talking down about death and immediately starts saying, you know, death loves death. If you stop Yoru, then actually what's going to happen is death is just going to destroy everything. And, you know, she loves death, which, again, whether you want to say the Death Devil is lying or not, she has confirmed to us multiple times that she does not actually want to end the human race. She has done everything she can, as shown by her belly, which is why the Sword Devil tries to show Denji that this is proof that Death Devil actually does want to die and doesn't want to do what she wants. However, because Denji was completely distracted and not paying attention, his mind is very much easily manipulated into Fumiko saying, well, you know, Death Devil's just done nothing but kill everything. And you know what? Honestly, you should probably side with War Devil, because not only will everyone survive, I mean, everyone will be alive. And you know what? We're already fighting nonstop wars all over the world. You know, we are going to have a nonstop endless war, whether you take War Devil down or not. So you know what? You should just let her have her way, and then she loves you. You know, she could have turned you into a weapon and she didn't. Truly, as someone that, you know, would have liked to have heard what the 3 strategies were that Sword Devil was about to explain to us, and also would have liked to know if any of those strategies involve the fact that Fumiko might now be on War's side at this point, because again, War has already recruited a massive army of devils. It's possible a devil like, which we get revealed here, which is Fumiko's contract and why she had one version of her die and had another version waiting to go. Fumiko actually made a contract with the STD Devil, which I have to say, for as crazy as that is definitely a really interesting and awesome plot development and twist, because not only do I think no one really saw that coming, that makes so much fucking sense. It's like very much like an It Follows scenario, but to the utmost degree, where Fumiko reveals at the age of fucking 14, which is just, again, diabolical work, just fucking ridiculous shit, but it shows how insane the world of devils it actually would be and how dark it would be. Someone that, not for nothing, makes a very OP devil contract at a very young age. Can you blame her for taking advantage of it? Despite the fact of, you know, the disgusting nature of that, it's like, in a world of devils, it's like she thought that made the most sense in order to keep herself alive, because what this contract allows her to do, any human that has sex with Fumiko Mifune becomes Fumiko Mifune in both mind and body. So essentially what that contract with the STD Devil does is every time Fumiko has sex with someone, that person quite literally becomes Fumiko, like in a sense of they are infected with the devil's contract and they become just a full clone. And with that sense, Fumiko is essentially spread herself all across the entire world, because if you really think about it, once that person becomes Fumiko, they are then also under the same kind of contract, which means that person can then go travel and go off and have sex with other people, and then those people also become Fumiko Mifune. So it's not even just like that main original body needs to, you know, go buck wild across the entire world. The Fumiko Mifunes will eventually just spread themselves and just naturally procreate and naturally continue to take over more and more and more people, which is just, again, just one of the most overpowered devil abilities that I've heard of in the entire series. And if you really think about it, this powerful devil being under War's control could make sense, but also the Death Devil is supposed to have plenty of people that follow it. So who knows? This also could be completely out of self, you know, sustainability, as Fumiko claims it is. She says that she just wants to continue living, and because of all of the chaos and the apocalypse basically going on, the number of her selves has not only fallen, they're also probably not as able to create more Fumiko Mifunes. And even though they're still routinely exchanging information like some kind of hive mind, she claims that with all of this information, she actually has a better grasp of the situation of the entire world, which is why she says, hey, Denji, you know what, endless war is already happening. We don't need War Devil to do that. So Death is just wrong. Considering she also lies about Death's true nature, but again, considering we don't know Death's true nature and Death could be lying to us, you see how Denji is immediately getting pulled every single which way, force, direction, and angle by all of these different people around him the moment he loses someone that's actually a rock solid foundation, and how Denji immediately regresses the moment he's on his own. And while some people could think that that's annoying and think that's bad character writing, it's very human and it's very realistic. Some people do need someone to keep them grounded, and when they lose that support system, they immediately fall back to their old habits. The chapter ending on Fumiko giving him a lewd photo in order to prove her allegiance to him is just the most Denji thing in the entire world. I'm not even gonna say the name of the chapter or what Denji says, because frankly it's abhorrent and disgusting. I think that's where I'm glad that was the final page. Guys, what do you think about this chapter? Besides the crazy crazy reveal of Fumiko's contract. Where do you think the story is going to go from here? What can you expect to see from this series? Most of all, who do you trust? Who do you really believe? Because again, not for nothing, this is the same diarrhea woman that betrayed us, I think about almost 2-3 times now, at least. So why would we trust her? My chips are on Little D right now, personally, while also being questionable, has at least proven, again, like Denji says, that she has done some good things and again has the giant hole in her stomach to prove it. I can't even begin to tell you what's actually going to happen and who we should trust, but all I know is the one person that Denji was not only happiest with, but Denji was his best self with, was Asa. And quite literally, that is, in my opinion, the best person that I think Denji should try to get back to their side. At this point, that might mean somehow splitting Asa from Yoru, but at this point, I don't really see any other situation, especially with obviously what has been revealed that Yoru can not be trusted because her true nature is a devil, and that true nature cannot be stopped. Does that mean we have to lose Asa? I don't know. But guys, hit that like button if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys 110% in the next Chainsaw Man chapter. I'm getting conflicting things. Manga Plus says we're on a break. Shonen Jump says we're getting a chapter next week. At this point, we can't even predict when the chapters are coming out. So all I can say is I can definitely promise to see you guys in the next chapter review for Chainsaw Man. Peace.